Do you hate gods? Would you consider yourself an arsonist but like edgier? Hell, maybe you just want to wear the skin of your enemies. Well, if the answer to any of those questions is yes, then this might be the class for you. You creep. Hey there, my name's Snooze and this is a class guide for becoming a Godskin Apostle. Now, as you might have guessed, this build is extremely edgy, but actually quite powerful once you get used to it. The Godskin Apostle is one of the most flexible builds in the game, as it is mainly based on faith, but allows you to choose between a strength or dexterity build, depending on which weapon you want to use. In this video, I'll be going through a few weapon options, as well as their appropriate setup in terms of stats and gear. Starting with my favorite build for this class, namely the dexterity build, you're going to look out for these three main points: the Godskin Peeler and its Ash of War as a weapon, the God-slaying incantations as well as the seal you want to use, and finally the ideal talismans for your build. First of all, we have the Godskin Peeler, which is one of the more unique twin blades in the game. This one can be looted from the Godskin Apostle mini-boss at the top of the Windmill Village and can get upgraded by the Black Flame Tornado Ash of War if you want to change your attribute scaling of the weapon to mostly rely on faith instead of dexterity. This weapon and its Ash of War combination is best for players who want to mainly use their God-slaying incantations, as faith will be your main stat at this point. This Ash of War, however, is a late game one, as it is looted after defeating the Godskin duo in Farum Azula. Continuing with the caster setup for your build, you want to use all of the incantations you're seeing right now on the screen. A link to the Elden Ring wiki for those incantations will be provided in the description. Moving on to the talismans, if you want your build to be more of a caster spec, I'd recommend using the Radagon icon for faster casting speed, the Godfrey icon for more damage on your charged spells, as well as the Faithful Canvas and Flux Canvas talisman to raise damage of all incantations. If you're too cool to be a caster, however, and want to get down into the dirt with your enemies as a melee player, I'd recommend using the Rotten Winged Sword insignia, raising attack power with successive attacks, the Shard of Alexander, raising the damage of your weapon skill, the Twin Blade Talisman for enhancing the final hit of your chain attacks, as well as the Godskin Swaddling Cloth for restoring HP after killing enemies. To use your incantations, you'll need the God-slaying seal, which can be found in Stormveil Castle behind a fog wall after using an imp statue, as it is currently shown on screen. Now this one is very important to your build, as it will boost your God-slaying incantations. In terms of armor, you're basically free to choose whatever you want. However, in order to stay true to my atheist cosplay, I'm going to use the actual Godskin Apostle armor set, which you can get after killing the final boss in the basement of the Divine Tower of Caelid. Next in line, we need to talk about stats. If you're using the twin blades, you'll need to spend your points mainly on dexterity and faith, with a little bit of strength on the side. Make sure to put enough points into the vigor department, as you're going to be a bit more squishy with this build should you choose to wear the Godskin armor. Last but not least, we'll have a look at the strength build of this class. Another great weapon to use for this build would be the Godslayer's Greatsword, turning your class into a slower version of the dexterity one. Should you choose to rely on the big boy sword, you'll want to change your talismans a little. The Claw Talisman for higher jumping attack damage, the Shard of Alexander for greater weapon skill damage, Flux Canvas Talisman for greater potency of your incantations, as well as the Axe Talisman for stronger charge attacks. This of course changes your stats as well, as you want to sacrifice a bit of dexterity for more strength and of course faith. Well then, my fellow tarnished, if you found this video helpful, please consider leaving a like and a sub, and have fun being a skin wearing yet kinda cool looking creep.